Reptiles and birds. Unlike amphibians, which have thin, moist skin, reptiles are ectothermic vertebrates that have dry, tough skin covered with scales. Their skin adaptation helps protect them and keep water inside their body, and this is because of another adaptation is that reptiles have kidneys, and kidneys are organs that filter water from the blood, and then the waste can be excreted as urine. Reptiles are also able to protect developing embryos that they have internally fertilized by creating eggs inside a female's body. Unlike an amphibian's egg, a reptile's egg has a shell and membranes that protect the developing embryo and keep it from drying out. An egg with a shell and internal membranes that keep embryos moist are called amniotic eggs. And the shells have pores that let oxygen gas in and carbon dioxide out. Now, reptiles will lay their eggs on land, and the membranes inside the egg will help the embryo survive. One membrane holds a liquid that surrounds the embryo and keeps it moist. Another membrane holds the yolk, which acts as the food for the embryo. A third membrane holds the embryo's waste, and then the final membrane is where oxygen and carbon dioxide are exchanged. There are three major groups of reptiles: lizards and snakes, alligators and crocodiles, and turtles. Most reptiles alive today are either snakes or lizards, and these organisms have skin covered with overlapping scales. As they grow, they shed their skin and scales, replacing the old ones with new ones. Lizards have 4 legs, and usually they have claws on the toes, while snakes have no legs. In contrast to snakes, lizards have long tails, external ears, movable eyelids, and 2 lungs, while snakes have streamlined bodies, no ears or eyelids, and most have only 1 lung. There are a few lizards that are herbivores, but for most part, lizards and snakes are carnivores and feed on small animals and insects. Both species have amazing adaptations for catching, capturing, and eating their prey, such as long, sticky tongues of a chameleon to capture their prey, or the ability of snakes' jawbones to spread wide apart to swallow an animal larger in diameter than itself. If you've ever seen a snake move, you also know they can move very fast, even though they don't have legs like lizards. Snakes actually move by contracting or shortening their bands of muscles that are connected to their ribs and backbones, and these alternate contractions allow them to slither side to side, making some snakes move very fast. Alligators and crocodiles are the largest reptiles still living on Earth. Many people confuse the two because they are similar in their appearance in many ways. So how can you tell an alligator from a crocodile? Well, the trick is to look at their snouts. Alligators have broad, rounded snouts and will only have a few teeth visible when their mouths are shut. This is much different from crocodiles that have pointed snouts, and when their mouths are shut, most of their teeth will be visible. Both alligators and crocodiles are large carnivorous reptiles that care for their young. They are carnivores and have several adaptations for capturing their prey, such as strong muscular tails to swim rapidly, large pointed teeth, and jaw muscles that have extremely strong biting force. Crocodiles and alligators are also super good moms and will stay near their nest to make sure the eggs stay moist, and then once the eggs hatch, the female will scoop them up in her mouth and carry them from the nest to a nursery area in the water where she can protect them better. She will actually stay with her babies for a year until they can feed and protect themselves. Then we have our turtles, who are easily recognized by their protective shell. Their shell includes their ribs and their backbone and has bony plates that are covered by large scales made from the same material as their skin scales. Most turtles, as you know, can draw their head, legs, and tails inside their shells for protection. Some turtles have shells that are super hard, and some have shells that are super soft. Turtles can live in the ocean, in freshwater, and on land, and those that live on land we call tortoises. Some turtle species are carnivores, such as leatherbacks that eat jellyfish, while others are herbivores and like to eat cactus. The tortoises of the Galapagos Islands were one of the main species studied by Darwin to help understand evolution. Okay, it's time to talk about birds. From before, we know that birds are endothermic vertebrates, meaning they can maintain their body temperature. Birds also have feathers, can lay eggs, and have another adaptation, which is a 4-chambered heart. Most birds are adapted for flight. So along with feathers, which are characteristics of only birds, bird bones are nearly hollow, making them super lightweight. Birds that fly also have very large chest muscles that help them move their wings. Bird feathers not only help them fly, but depending on the type and the shape of the feather, they also help birds balance, steer, and trap heat to keep the bird warm. Flying birds need a lot of energy, and to get energy, the cells must receive plenty of oxygen to release the energy that they eat in their food. So along with their lungs, the circulatory system of birds are very efficient at getting oxygen to the cell, and this is done with a heart having 4 chambers, 2 atria and 2 ventricles. The advantage of a 4-chambered heart over a 3-chambered heart like those of reptiles is that the oxygen-rich blood does not mix with oxygen-poor blood, and therefore blood carried to the cells of the body have plenty of oxygen. A quick touch on bird feathers again is if you've ever picked up a feather, then it's generally going to be a contour feather, and a contour feather is one of the large feathers that give shape to a bird's body. These feathers extend beyond the body of a bird and are what allow a bird to fly. A contour feather, if you were to look at under a microscope, consists of a central shaft, and then it has small hair-like projections called barbs that come off that central shaft. If you were to look at each of those barbs, there are tiny hooks from one barb to the next that hold the feather together, keeping the feather smooth and not allowing air to fly through and kick the bird off balance. Now, birds also have short, fluffy little feathers called down feathers, and these are usually found right next to the bird's skin, right at the base of the contour feathers. They are very soft and very flexible. And unlike contour feathers, these are here to trap heat and help insulate the bird. Many chicks are born with just their down feathers, and that's why they look so cute and fluffy. Now, you can find birds in almost all land habitats. With over 10,000 species, they are the most diverse land-dwelling vertebrate. Every bird has adaptations that help it live in its natural environment. Adaptations include the shape of their beaks, maybe the length of their legs, and the sharpness of their claws, or even the ability of their eyes to see in the dark. For example, owls have sharp vision and keen hearing to help them hunt at night. These, along with their razor-sharp claws, allow them to be fantastic hunters. Ostriches, which are the largest living bird, cannot fly, but can run at speeds greater than 60 kilometers per hour, and this helps them escape from predators. Another bird, pelicans, have beaks made of a super stretchy skin that allows them to scoop up a big mouthful of water that includes fish, and they can filter feed the water out of it and just swallow the fish. Birds play a very important role in the environment. They are some of the best pollinators. If a bird like a hummingbird flies from flower to flower to collect nectar, it helps pollinate those flowers. Seed-eating birds will eat the seeds, and then the seeds pass through the digestive tract, and when the seed lands, it starts growing in this new place. Birds are also the #1 predator of pests that sometimes affect crops, such as rats, mice, and insects. All right, let's take a break here and show what you know.